wonderful finish.
Saki's in here for goal number 2 and he gets it.
Simply breathtaking from the youngster.
Openings for Arsenal at the other end. Saka.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode on Mirror Your Culture. I am Henry Obada, and I will be your host. Picture this. You're 19 years old. You've been alive for less than 2 decades, and the entire weight of a nation, its pain, its longing, its 55-year hunger for a trophy is sitting on your shoulders. You pick up the ball, you place it on the spot. 87,000 people hold their breath, and you run up, and you miss. And in the hours that follow, the internet becomes a place of violence, racist messages, abuse, hate, directed at a teenager, a child, for missing a football goal. Now fast forward, same tournament, 3 years later, Euro 2024, quarterfinals, penalty shootout, England against Switzerland. And who steps up? That same boy, older now, steadier. He runs up and scores, coolly, completely, and then looks in the camera as if it's to say, I told you I will be back. His name, his full beautiful Yoruba name from West Africa, is Bukayo Moses Ayoyinka Temidayo Saka. And this is Mirror Your Culture. Let's go back to the beginning. Not Wembley, not the Emirates, but Ealing, West London, a modest neighborhood, an ordinary street, and in that house, a Nigerian family headed by Yomi Saka from Ogun State and Adenike Saka from Kwara State, raising their children with the values they had carried across the ocean. These values are not money, not connection. They are the values of discipline, humility, hard work, faith, the Yoruba way. At 7 years old, Bukayo was spotted by Arsenal, not a local under-10s team, not a stepping stone. Arsenal Football Club. He joined the Hale and Academy, the same youth system that produced Fabregas, Cole, Wilshere, and he never left. He came through every age group, every level, absorbing everything, growing every season. And at just 17 years old, he made his professional debut for Arsenal's first team. Now picture this. The first moment that shocked everyone. His debut wasn't as a winger, the position the whole world knows him in. He played left back, a position he had never formally trained for, against a professional opponent. And he did it without flinching. The ability to show up, adapt, and perform under pressure. That wasn't developed in a training ground drill, that was built in a Nigerian household in Ealing. And here on Mirror Your Culture, we always ask one question, the same question. When someone takes their gifts to the global stage, do they carry their culture with them, or do they leave it at the door to fit in? With Bukayo Saka, you don't even have to look past his name to find the answer. Bukayo, Yoruba, meaning adds to happiness. His grandmother gave him that name, and when he became famous enough for the world to ask him about it, he didn't shorten it, he didn't Anglicize it. He looked into the camera and said, my name is Bukayo Moses Ayoyinka Temidayo Saka. I am very proud of it. Both my parents grew up in Nigeria, so many of their values have been instilled in me. In his exact same word, he said, I feel like I'm really, really proud of my Nigerian heritage. I always still watch the Nigeria games where I can. Now listen, he was eligible to play for Nigeria. He could have just worn the Super Eagles shirt. And when he was asked about that decision, choosing to play for England, he was clear. It was not a football decision, not an identity decision. He said choosing England did not mean rejecting Nigeria. Those words were his words. Because in Bukayo Saka's world, both are true, both are real, both are him. And here is what makes this extraordinary. In June 2023, when he could have been anywhere in the world on his post-season break, he went to Nigeria. He went to Lagos. He walked through the streets of Somolu in traditional style attire. He visited Kwara State, that is his mother's ancestral home. He met fans and greeted with them, not in English, but in Yoruba. He said, "Eku leo," a Yoruba expression of warmth and respect and welcome. The crowd responded with joy because he was not a celebrity visiting a country. He was the son of the soil coming home. Let's go back to that night again, because the story of what happened after he missed his penalty is one of the most remarkable stories in modern sports. Not because of his comeback itself, but because of how quiet it was. There was no press conference, no dramatic statement, no anger. Bukayo Saka simply went home, and then he went back to the drawing board. He went back to work. The season after Euro 2020, he was named Arsenal's Player of the Season. The season after that, England's Player of the Year. Then again, England's Player of the Year. Back to back, 2 consecutive years in a squad that included Harry Kane, Jude Bellingham, Phil Foden, and Declan Rice. And Bukayo Saka was the best of them all, twice. Now listen, in Euro 2024, the quarterfinals, England versus Switzerland, penalty shootout. The whole of England is watching, remembering, and Saka steps up. He scores cleanly, calmly. Afterwards, he said, to come back from something like that was really difficult. I used it to make me stronger. That is not an athlete talking. That is a man shaped by a culture that does not permit you to stay down even when you are brought down. Here is what the Yoruba household of Yomi and Adenike Saka gave their son that no academy can teach. They gave him the understanding that difficulty is not a detour from the journey. Difficulty is the journey. And the pain you face does not define you. What you do with it does. Bukayo Saka took the worst moment of his career and turned it into a masterclass in character. And then he went and played 4 major international tournaments before his 25th birthday. Now let me show you something, because sometimes the story needs numbers and make you feel the scale of it. Pay attention to these numbers, not because statistics tells the whole story or the whole truth, but because these particular statistics are almost unbelievable for a man at 24. Bukayo has scored 110 Premier League goals before the age of 25. He has 147 Arsenal goals plus assists since his debut. He has been 2 times England Player of the Year. He has played in 4 major tournaments. He has 56 England caps, 17 England goals, and he has a 92.3% penalty conversion rate. And his market value is 124 million euros. 110 Premier League goal involvement before his 25th birthday. Wow. At 23 years old, only 3 players in the Premier League history had more combined goals and assists at his age. Those 3, Cristiano Ronaldo, Raheem Sterling, Ryan Giggs. Let that breathe for a second. A son of Nigerian immigrants from Hale, in the same statistical conversation as those names, at 23. In October 2025, he did something that had never been done in 86 years. He became Arsenal's all-time leading goal scorer from England, surpassing the record that had stood since the 1930s. Cliff Bastin set that record in 1939. Bukayo Saka broke it in 2025. 86 years later. 86 years gone. And in the 2025-2026 season, he won the Premier League title with Arsenal, the club that found him at 7 years old, the Hale End boy, a champion. Now here's the truth. Fame does something to people. It can make them forget. It can make them perform in a version of themselves that fits better with the whole world. That is a test the Mirror Your Culture is always interested in. When the lights get brighter, do you keep your roots or do you trade them for convenience? In November 2022, at the height of his fame, Bukayo Saka made a decision. He partnered with Big Shoe, a children's medical charity, and personally funded 120 surgeries for for children in Kano, Nigeria. Brain tumors, hernias, children who had no other way to get care. And when he asked why Nigeria mattered to him so deeply, he said, simply, I still feel very connected to Nigeria. That was not a PR statement. That was a young man writing his values with his wallet. And here's a meal that changed everything. He once appeared on a UK sports program comparing English and Nigerian foods. The jollof rice, plantain chips, the Milo cubes against English snacks. Nigerian won 3-2. He wasn't asked to choose between England and Nigeria. He was just being himself, and Nigerian won. Some things are just in you. And here is what Bukayo Saka represents on the Mirror Your Culture. He is a man, a young man, who was given a choice the world constantly forces on children of immigrants. Be this or be that. English or Nigerian, modern or traditional. And his answers lived out in interviews, in charity, in language, in a trip home to Kwara State, in a Yoruba greeting to fans on the street of Lagos. His answer has always been the same. Both, all of it. I am all of it. And I am not shrinking any of it for your comfort. His grandmother gave him a name that means adds to happiness, and from a house in Ealing built on Nigerian discipline, Yoruba values, and the quiet sacrifice of two parents who left everything they knew, Bukayo Saka has been living up to that name every single day. He is proof that you can wear your culture on your sleeve and still be the best in the room. That you can say your full name, all five of them, in a world that wants to abbreviate you and still be the one they come to watch. He is proof that what your parents gave you in the kitchen, in the morning prayers, in the discipline, in the stories, that is not baggage. That is your superpower. Bukayo Saka did not become great despite being Nigerian. He became great because of everything that being Nigerian made him. In a Yoruba household in West London, with his parents who loved him enough to pour their whole culture into him. The discipline, the humility, the resilience, the refusal to stay down, that is the Yoruba way. And it is walking on football pitches across the world every single week. And if this has inspired you, share this. Tag someone who needs to hear it, because somewhere out there is a child who has been told their name is too long, their roots are too different, their culture doesn't fit the room they are walking into. Show them Bukayo Saka. Tell them your name is your power. Carry it, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.